Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Hasan. Today I'm going to talk about voice assisted artificial intelligence. We probably heard about Siri, Alexa. So those are voice assisted or voice controlled artificial intelligence, and I'm going to talk about those. And I'm also going to explain a little bit normally how voice assisted artificial intelligence can influence your brand loyalty towards a brand. So normally, this kind of technology we can see is that when we are talking to our phone, is trying to understand some basic command and trying to do those some kind of activities like playing musics and also probably calling a number from the contact books. So those kind of activities, it's normally happening with this kind of voice assisted as artificial intelligence. But this technology is improving over the time. Now we can see that Alexa, you can use Alexa to order food, or you order anything online to use Alexa. Those are the type of application we can see that voice assisted artificial intelligence are doing. But besides that, voice assisted artificial intelligence is quite important because a large population of this world are still illiterate or low literate, or they have difficulty typing words to give commands to computers, and this kind of technologies is quite useful. Also, consumers who have a certain health condition like dementia, that can also help. This kind of technology can help for to those customers, because they can then when they ask repetitive questions, this kind of technology can help and make it much more comfortable for them as well. So these are the kind of application we can see these voice assisted technologies, voice assisted artificial intelligence are doing. But there, we normally see a lot of research has been done to understand probably the adoptions of it. One thing we have found from one of our research, that how voice assisted artificial intelligence can influence your brand loyalty. So your brand loyalty could be influenced by using those technologies, and which is quite interesting that how it can. For example, I'm going to show with one of my research paper here. This was research we done with two of my co-authors. They are working in the United Kingdom, Dr. Riyad Shams and Dr. Rahman. So they are working in they are the researcher in the UK, and I'm working in Maynooth University in Ireland. So from this research, we kind of found some interesting aspects, and I'm going to talk about those. And so if we look into this proposed model of this research paper, we actually have found some interesting aspects. Like, for example, we proposed interactions influence the brand loyalty, and we found from this research that the more you interact with the Siri, like voice assisted artificial intelligence, and so the more your brand loyalty tend to increase. So is the interaction actually positively influence your brand loyalty? And then we have perceived risk and trust and the novelty values. So the novelty values is actually quite interesting, because with the novelty value, what we have found that when the consumers actually get more attracted by novelty values, and normally millennials get are more attracted to use this voice assisted artificial intelligence because of the novelty values. But also we found from one of our findings, like when it comes to novelty factors or novelty values influencing your brand loyalty, we saw that less involved customers were not much involved with the brand. Like, for example, in case of our research, we looked into Siri, an Apple brand, and we found that customers were not much involved with Apple brand. They tend to their brand loyalty tend to increase more because of these novelty factors. So this is a nice way of actually attracting customers to your brand because of the novelty value this kind of technology have. But then we also found that more innovative customers the novelty value tend to influence the brand loyalty when the customers is very innovative. So it also attracts very innovative customers who wanted to try new things, and then novelty value attracts them more, and then that increases their brand loyalty. So that's one of the aspects we have found, that novelty is very important factors to influence the brand loyalty. Then we also found that perceived risk and trust are very important as well, and this also we found from the literature that this is very important, and one thing we found that perceived risk is actually more negatively influencing the brand loyalty, and a lot of customer actually and this is one of the barrier for the adoption of this kind of technology, because perceived risk is a lot of customers are really worried about the data, the sensitive personal data they are sharing when they are using this kind of technologies, and if they are seeing the perceived risk is quite high for those kind of technologies, they may not want it to use those kind of technology, and it can negatively influence the brand loyalty as well. So that's one of these problem we found, that perceived risk is can negatively influence the brand loyalty. On the other hand, if the customer is trusting the technology, then it will influence the brand loyalty more positively, we can see. So what we have found from this research, that policymakers can actually more increase the transparency and regulations of this recording or the transmission of audio through those technologies. And if they can do that, then in that case, it will also increase the trust for those kind of technologies, and also it will reduce the perceived risk for those technologies, and it may in turn actually increase the brand loyalty for the companies as well. So it's actually more win-win situation for the companies, and at the same time making the policies to ensure that the individuals are feeling more secure when they are actually using those technologies. That's important. So now we are thinking about moving this kind of research to look into more AI type of research, and my next research will be more looking into more other aspects of artificial intelligence, like for example how different shapes of robots can generate different type of intentions to use those robots. So those are the aspects I'm more looking into, and as I do more research in artificial intelligence and robot related research. Thanks for listening.